Welcome back to Daytime. Well, we're still here with actor Ryan Carnes. So thank you so much for continuing to join us. And we're just talking a little bit during the commercial break. One of the reasons why you're in the Durham region is a very important and special reason, of course, your involvement with AIDS Durham. So, you know, why was it important for you to get involved with this kind of organization?
Well, there's a couple reasons. First of all, on a personal level, fortunately, I haven't known too many people who have been stricken with the disease, but somebody pretty close to me in my life, a former manager of mine, whom I've known ever since the day I got to Los Angeles, his partner passed away from AIDS almost 2 years ago. And ever since I'd known him, you know, I knew him, and I knew his struggle with having a partner who had that disease. And you know, and I knew his partner's struggle, and I heard the gory details, the sort of the horrific reality of what someone who's dealing with that condition can experience. So there's that element, and then there's also just the more general element of me sort of being in a time in my life right now where I'm sort of turning my awareness and my consciousness more toward helping other people. And you know, looking at my life and looking at how I didn't do a lot of service when I was younger. And now looking and going, you know, I'd really like to do more service. I'd like to be of service, because ultimately I believe that no matter what we do, no matter what our vocation is, no matter what our passion is, that the only way to really uplift humanity and move societies forward is through service.
Was there something that was the catalyst for that? I mean, obviously, you know, your friend there, but...
Yeah. The last 2 years of my life has been quite a journey. I took a little bit of time off acting. Not totally, but I took some energy out of acting. I went back to a master's degree program. And I left Duke University early before I finished my bachelor's. So I technically couldn't get a master's. But I went through all the same course work as the rest of the students. So I have a certificate in spiritual psychology from a master's program, the University of Santa Monica in Santa Monica, California. And one of the main focuses of that program, or I shouldn't say main, but it's an equal part of the program, is really not teaching about, but sort of, it's a very experiential program, so we don't do any learning by rote. We do all learning by experience. And one of the components of the program is that we do service. We have a service project. We have service focuses. And through that process, I learned a lot about myself. I learned, to be quite honest, that I'd been a fairly selfish person most of my life. And I think selfishness is good in a way, because if we don't help ourselves, how can we possibly help other people? It's like we got to fill our own cup up first, and then with the overflow we can help others. But I realized that, you know, I'd been sort of selfish in a little bit of a negative way, like a self-centric outlook on life, and I hadn't really done a lot of service. And as I started doing service, I started, one, noticing how that impacted other people, and two, noticing that in a selfish way, it feels really good. It feels for me, and I think a lot of people who do a lot of service, it feels really good to reach out and to be of service. So that was really the impetus for me.
You know, it's interesting that you mentioned that service is so important to you, because, you know, you're a celebrity, you're recognizable, you can really, you know, show people the way and be a role model. So I'm very happy that you expressed that. And you are certainly being a role model, because you have so many events going on. I can't even keep track for all these, of course, for Durham Regional AIDS Durham. So you have the 2012 Durham Regional HIV/AIDS Conference that you're emceeing. There's an event going on tomorrow during the day at Out Lounge, and of course Taste for Life, which is happening April 25th. So, you know, tell us a little bit about why those events are so important for you to champion and get behind.
Well, I'll start with the youth event that I'm doing tomorrow. I mean, first and foremost, I was sort of one of those peculiar children, I guess, in the sense that when I was a kid, I said, someday I want to help kids. Because I sensed that around me, kids needed help, I guess. I mean, I sensed that somehow, some way, kids weren't getting the support that they always needed, you know, whether in school or whether at home or whether with their peers. So kids are very important to me, and, you know, I hope to have kids of my own someday, but in the meantime, I want to be able to be of service to children because it's hard being a kid.
Well, it's great that you're going to be,
Yeah.
you know, there to be a role model tomorrow at Out Lounge, of course, right? And of course, I want to mention one more time because we do have to run to a quick commercial break shortly. Is Taste for Life happening April 25th? That's the big kickoff, and you're of course going to be involved with that.
Yeah. Do I have time to say a little something about that?
We have to run to a commercial break, but
Cool.
I'll definitely put all the information up on
Great.
our website,
Great.
rogerstevie.com. More daytime when we return.